All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 8th episode of the Athletes Podcast featuring Justin Turgeon from Halifax, raised in Niagara Falls. He's an endurance athlete, a 32-year-old who currently puts his body through every physical competition possible. Welcoming him here today. Thank you very much for coming, Justin, taking time out of your busy schedule. We appreciate it, and I'm excited to share with everyone listening your story and what you are doing for the Niagara region and for children with or surrounding mental health. So I really appreciate you coming on. So give us a little info on Justin.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks, Dave. Appreciate you reaching out and bringing me out on this podcast. Pretty excited to talk a little bit about myself and what I got going on. I kind of classify myself as a very extroverted introvert. So meaning I'm very outgoing, but at the same time I like to kind of keep to myself. A lot of these things that I'm doing and have done, I don't like to be the full credit for. So that's why I kind of do things that involve my community and bettering my community. And essentially I like to put my body on the line and kind of show some positive energy, make that shit contagious, and hopefully that people can kind of follow my footsteps and maybe do something better in their day. I don't expect them to do what I'm doing per se, but essentially help, just starting out by helping a neighbor, helping yourself get better, and just improving your lifestyle and hopefully making this community that I love, that I grew up in Niagara Falls, a better place to be. Like you said, I'm 32. I was born in Halifax, spent most of my summers there, but I call Niagara Falls my home. Spent my whole life here playing minor hockey. This is where my close friends are from. This is where my family's from now. So essentially at this point in my life, I'm trying to figure out what can I do that's going to better the people around me. And I've spent most of my adulthood kind of slaying tools, turning wrenches, and trying to chase the buck around where I wasn't really benefiting myself or anyone around me. I was just trying to get my finances in order. And so for me, making this decision was pretty simple in terms of trying to push myself in a different boundary. And I know that I have that capability, and I'm proving it every time I do one of these endurance challenges.
Yeah, it's incredible and mind-boggling, really, what you've done over the past 7 months since leaving, your old position, and we can get into that later. But I mean, you're currently in 5 days. You're going from Ottawa to St. Catharines. 36-hour bike ride, basically full bore, going through whatever weather you're about to endure. Last night we got a foot of snow. That's got to be on your mind as a possibility that you're going to be
fucking right. I was on the radio, and I don't know if I kind of jinxed myself, but the guy that was asking me the questions, he kind of said, well, what happens if it snows? And I said, quite honestly, I hope it does. I might be rejecting that offer to Mother Nature now, but essentially, you know what? It's I'm a big component on adversity. I think that adversity kind of comes in everyone's life, whether you're an 18-year-old kid, a 12-year-old kid, or an adult. Everyone has a form of adversity that they got to conquer, and it could be a small one or a big one. And if you don't know how to battle through it, it's just going to fucking swallow you whole. So in this situation, my bike ride is going to be potentially 36 hours. Could be more, could be less. My plans are not to stop, not to rest. I will be eating throughout the trip, so I'll be taking those pit stops. I'll be making stops along the way to the Popeyes locations at Kingston and Belleville. I've been starting off at the Popeyes in Ottawa. That's who's the main sponsor for my ride.
Okay.
So shout out to Popeye Supplements in St. Catharines, right by Glendale. And so if it snows, it snows. It's just one of those situations that it comes to my way, then I'll deal with it. I have two bikes. I have a road bike and a mountain bike. If it's like this, then essentially my train of thought is I'll take my cycle shoes off, put my running shoes on, and fucking run the miles. Put both bikes in the truck, and whatever I can't ride, I'll run.
Wow.
I can run in the snow. It won't take me 36 hours, that's for damn sure, but I won't stop. And there won't be anything that will stop me other than the potential of my body seizing up, which has happened to me in training for these endurance challenges, and also during these endurance challenges. I've had issues with my body.
Yeah.
So those definitely, that kind of plays in the back of my mind. But I don't really think about those things. Like, I really don't. And I feel like I'm a big laws of attraction kind of guy. Mm-hmm. That if you create positivity, or you feel or you believe that you could potentially go through something, you'll do it. You'll fucking get through it. Mm-hmm. If you start thinking about becoming a hypochondriac, or start thinking about the shit that can happen, getting hit by a car, or seizing up, or getting too cold, or your fingers get wet, I'm gonna be cold. My hands are gonna be cold. My feet are gonna be wet. If I keep thinking about it, it's gonna destroy my ride. So those are just situations that honestly I don't really care about. And I'm not tough. Like physically, I'm not like some, like whacked out meathead or anything like that. I'm a guy that just can set aside the fact that my body might be going through pain. Mentally, I'll shut it down and I'll just kind of keep pushing forward. And that's like one of my biggest things that I promote with people that I train and help with their fitness is times and pushing forward and not allowing your body or your mind to shut off. Like, even from when I have helping people do a plank and they said my most I've ever done is a minute. Well, stop putting a time on your plank, just fucking plank. Yeah. And then therefore, and don't think about it. And then when you look at your stopwatch, you'll be at like 2.5 minutes. You won't even realize that you did it because you're just shut that part off. Right. And that's how I get these endurance challenges. Like, I don't listen to music. I barely listen to podcast, or I should say I listen to podcasts. I'll be listening to this one the whole, but I don't listen to anything. I just kind of listen to my own head, and I get in my own head, and I just, a lot of things I say to myself is not fucking nice. Like, I mean, I'm usually like, kind of like, it's like self-deprecating. Like, you're kind of ripping on yourself, but it's just that kind of like that moment where you just got to rely on your own mental state of mind to push through a lot of the adversity that comes your way. Right. Whether Mother Nature being one or your body.
Yeah, and you talk about that positive attitude, and I felt it immediately when you walked in the door. It's that you've got that energy that you're exuding and basically pushing that onto others whether they like it or not, and it's something that is so attractive and refreshing in the sense that you can basically turn your whole mentality around. And it's interesting you're talking about the shutting down your mental, what your body's telling you, whether it's cold, whatever it's. And you brought up David Goggins before. We touched on that prior to beginning the podcast, and he's one of those guys. 40%, and then you can go so much farther.
Yeah, man, that resonates with me hard. Yeah. And I appreciate that, and that's kind of like the aura that I'm going with. Like, I tell people, like, I'm up, and there's actually one of my buddies gave me a bracelet, and it's Positive Warrior, and that really resonated with me too, because like, fuck, why do you, if you're a warrior, why do you got to be a hardo? Why do you be like, David Goggins is a badass. Like, he's a hardo. And like, but I'm not saying I could do what David Goggins does. That's for sure. Like, that guy's an animal, but like, I'm going to do the same shit or try to do the same kind of mentality that he has, but I'm going to be smiling. I'm going to be showing people that you can go through you can go through the depths of hell. You can literally go kiss Satan on the lips and make it back with a fucking smile on your face. And I'll show that. And I've done it myself personally. Yeah. I've been in the depths of hell mentally, and I've been in issues where like, fuck, I thought I never was going to get out. But you just find that moment where you just stay positive. And that's actually, going back to Goggins, was a big influencer in my life, and which kind of put me into that situation where I left my career. And I had a good career. I had, on paper, if anyone looked at what my situation was, they're like, fuck, this guy's making good money. He gets to travel all over Canada, all over the world for that matter, gets paid well, and he has a good job. He's got a good responsibility. I was a supervisor, so like, I wasn't someone that was just getting told what to do. I had clout, I had responsibility, but I put that all on the back burner because I pretty much listened to David Goggins in July 2018. It was actually my colleague who misses me dearly every day, but he was actually my boss. We were driving, I don't know, over somewhere in Saskatchewan or Alberta, and when he's like, listen to this guy, and as soon as he started talking, I immediately related to the guy, not because I'm a Navy SEAL or anything like that, but his mind. I was like, fuck, that's what he's saying is so clear to me. And that 40% that you just said, like, it's just like, shit, there's so many times where I've done things where I'm like, good enough, or that will do, or that's all I got. And like, fuck, how many times have you gone to the gym and you're like, good enough, that's it for me? Or you go to the gym and you get your reps in and you're like, all right, now what? Why not go to the gym every now and then and be like, what can I fucking do today that's going to completely destroy my body? Why not? And why not, right? Yeah. And it's not going to kill you. Mm-hmm. I haven't died yet. I mean, most people don't just die by doing this, right? Like, so if you push yourself to the point where, like, I'm not saying like, go do something extreme, but like, if you do a hard workout, you're not going to die. Yeah. You're going to be fucking tired, but you're probably going to be sore in the morning. You're going to be sore, yeah. But you take the right supplements afterwards and you treat your body well, it's going to recover and you'll probably be better for it. Yeah, right. And that's kind of that Goggins mentality. And he, when I listened to him, and then I read his book, this was last Christmas, that Christmas holiday, I spent kind of the whole vacation or not vacation or time off from my job, like thinking about what can I do better? What am I doing now that's not, doesn't define who I am, or that doesn't really, what do you call it? Doesn't really make me who I am. And
right.
My job wasn't relating to me. It was a job, it was a good career, but I'm someone that wants to help. I've always been that way from hockey.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a leader in hockey to I was a firefighter too. So I had a firefighting career, and that was something that really opened up my eyes, just helping my community, being a part of the community. When someone dials 911, they don't give a shit who shows up. They just want someone to show up and help them.
Yeah.
Right. And that was a huge one. That was a big, moment in my life where this is something that I like to do.
Yeah.
And then now when I started this, my brand, PAK Fitness, it has the same relation. I'm not in it for the money. Like, I made money. I know what that's like. That's not that doesn't define me anymore. So these endurance challenges that I take on, they're strictly for people that I believe that need it. And especially within my own community. Like, we touched base about the bike ride I did in June.
Yeah, so take us through that. What is, we've got the A&W one as well as the Princess Margaret. Take us through what those endurance challenges were, what they raised, the amounts raised. Because I think, I know for a fact, actually, that these deserve a lot of attention, and I don't think they have necessarily received that. And I want to make sure that, for everyone listening, this has been some incredible, time dedicated just from your end, as well as, athletic ability has been showcased, breaking a world record, not having someone there necessarily to be able to certify it. But
yeah, I'll have to redo that. But
yeah. So take us through that.
Yeah. So, honestly, so another thing I promote, like, I'm an average guy. There's nothing really like, I walk in, like you said, I exert positivity, but there's nothing like jaw dropping about me. Like, I'm not a
except for the mustache.
So I got a strong muzzy. There that's all year round. That's not no November thing either.
Okay,
right? It's my identity.
Yeah.
It kind of and my mullet. So my mullet, my mustache, my identity. That's pretty much the only thing that's not average about me.
Mm-hmm.
I grow a nice mustache and I got good hair.
But
it's essentially it's I'm just an average, like I said, I'm just an average guy. I really don't have like an athletic gift. I was good at hockey, but I was never great. I was good at, working out, but I can go to any gym, man. And I bet you if we go to the gym, you could probably fucking lift heavier than me. I mean,
debatable.
Okay, well, I can go to any gym. I can go to Good Life, Fit for Less, wherever, and there'll be guys there that lift heavier than me.
Yeah.
And I can go to any track, and there'll be a guy that can run faster than me. And I can go to any friggin' cycle event, and a guy will pedal faster than me. I know that, but I guarantee that motherfucker will not beat me in an endurance challenge. So if I go run a marathon, I'll go run again. And I'll go run 180K to beat somebody. That mentality is not fluent throughout the line.
No.
There'll be good marathon runners. There's a guy who just broke a world record on 2 hours. I'll blow my kneecaps off just trying to do 4 hours, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'll keep going, and that's kind of where my strengths are.
Yeah.
It's pushing past the point that you think you're done, and then doing it all over again. Mm-hmm. So like the Stairmaster challenge so I'll start with my ride. My first challenge, I guess, as I left my career, was I kind of just started Googling like what's going on in my community and what physical challenges are going on. I'm not a good runner, but I can run for miles. Again, my pace time's shit, but I'll go forever. So there was a ride for that. It was the Ride to Conquer Cancer for Princess Margaret. It's a 2-day event, and it's done from Toronto to Hamilton to Niagara Falls.
Okay.
And then the other loop is Niagara Falls to Hamilton, back to Niagara Falls.
Okay.
So I took from Niagara Falls. I just for the sake of being easier for travel and not getting a hotel and whatever. But I started Niagara Falls. I was just gonna ride my bike to I try to tell the organizers of the event what I wanted to do.
Right.
Essentially, what I wanted to do was just keep going back and forth from Toronto to Niagara Falls for 2 days straight. And obviously the coordinator's like, no, not a chance. You could die.
Yeah.
So I'm like, roger that.
Fair
I'll
enough.
modify and adapt. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what if? And I wasn't giving up. I'm like, I got to do something different. Because essentially my goal is to be fucking crazy and have people see that. And people like crazy. So if I do that, I'll get more money. raise for that. Not me personally get more money, but for whatever I'm doing.
Your goal is to raise as much possible.
Raise as much money as possible, right? So again, my thought was, no, that's not good enough. I don't want to just be a part of the common people that are going to do this ride, which is still a great ride. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. And everyone does the part of that ride. It's still very difficult. It's 100+ kilometers a day.
Yeah.
And then you go to Hamilton, you have beers and some food and get some sleep, and then get back after it. And hey, for anybody that's just a normal weekend rider, that's a great ride. Yeah. And you feel very accomplished doing that. And my hat's like, I have respect for all levels of fitness. I would never ever say that I'm better than one versus the other, bodybuilding versus physique, whatever, it doesn't matter. But that wasn't for me. I want to be different. So I decided that I'm going to go from Niagara Falls to Hamilton. I had my buddy meet me in Hamilton with my spin bike. We unloaded the spin bike as soon as I finished my ride. So it took me, I got there in pretty good time actually. Unloaded the spin bike right in the parking lot, and I spun all night. I didn't get off. So as soon as I got off my cycle, I got on my spin bike, and I just started spinning right in the parking lot. And again, going back to my introverted ways, they wanted me right in the main center. I physically or mentally, I could not hold that capacity because I know people would be talking to me.
Right.
And it would be, and I wouldn't be able to, be associating with that.
Yeah.
It wasn't my goal to be popular. It was my goal to raise more money.
Right.
So essentially what I did, I was out in the middle of the parking lot, did my own thing. I was facing the woods. It was peaceful. And my buddy there, he was kind of keeping me entertained. Yeah. It was great. He, God bless his soul. He sat with me the whole time pretty much, just kind of shot the shit. He was ordering pizza and eating all kinds of other foods in front of me. But
yeah.
Anyways, I spun till about 3:30 in the morning, and that's when I had my first real body malfunction. I've had lots of surgeries and issues in my body, so I kind of know when shit's starting to go wrong. Right. And I've done a lot of runs where I know where it starts. I call it the T-Rex arms. Your whole body seizes up, and everything just fucking pulls in on each other. Your feet curl up, your legs seize up, your calves tighten up, and your arms go into you go into a T-Rex arm, and you're seized up.
And is that something that is just a natural body reaction that happens?
It's just shock.
Okay.
So that at that time it was still kind of cool at night.
Okay.
And I didn't have layers or fuck all. So I was just sitting there in a cut up hoodie and my cycling shorts. So I was getting cold.
Yeah.
And I didn't really realize it because I was still whatever, right?
Adrenaline's flowing,
So I seized straight up, and my buddy at that time sleeping in the back of my Jeep. And luckily I was just kind of able to roll off my spin bike. So the only break I did take, I took for about a half hour because I rolled inside my Jeep, turned it on, cranked the heat on.
Yeah.
And I just kind of let my body thaw out. And then by 4:30, he woke up. He's like, are you all good? I'm like, yeah, man. And then I'm just fucking convulsing in the front seat. But
he doesn't know a thing.
Yeah, it's all good. He was comfy. I didn't want to bother him. But as soon as the event started up, I think they had breakfast at 4:30. I walked down, grabbed 2 coffees, poured them on my legs, and then got on my road bike and pedaled back to Niagara. So that's kind of how my mind works. I just don't really think about the potential that hurt my body. I just kind of push through it.
And are you taking in fluids, taking in food during this time?
So that's a good question. And that's a good, so for me, when I started doing this stuff years ago, I didn't have a fucking clue what I was doing. I was eating peanut butter sandwiches. I was literally the story that David Goggins talks about running around that track was so relatable because that's what I used to do, and I didn't have an idea, and I didn't realize why my body was shutting down. But it's because you're just. And then you get into the science. It's I'm not a kinesiology student. I don't have a background in biology, and I sure shit don't know what the human body does on on everything that you're trying to process. But then once you start to do a little studying. And then you're understanding what your body uses as fuel, how things break down, what proteins are, what carbs do for your fuel, your glycogen levels and all your sucrose and potassium, magnesium, everything that's kind of happened with your body's reaction to it breaking down, to keeping it alive, vegetables, keeping it from alkalizing your pee. So essentially what happens when that happens is because the lactic acid is so much that it just literally fucking forms like a freaking comet in your stomach and you just can't do anything about it.
Wow.
So for me, nutrition is huge. To do the events that I do now, especially these long runs, I gotta have food, I gotta have carbs, and I gotta make sure that I'm hitting my key points on even vitamin supplementation.
I'm sure working at Popeyes helps. So you get
very
all
much
that,
so, man.
All of that wealth of information from everyone else working there as well.
1,000%. So that was a huge one for me. When I left my career, I started working at Popeyes part-time. I knew that I wanted to be in health and wellness. I knew the owner, Steve, very well. So it was pretty much just kind of worked hand in hand. And that's like been a free education on actually bettering my body,
right,
to the extent that I'm using it for. And so yeah, during these, like I said, that was great because the spin bike, I was stationary.
Yeah.
So essentially I can just eat while I spin.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of like caveman style about it. I still just eat my peanut butter sandwiches, but I eat like natural peanut butter,
right,
and like multigrain bread.
Yeah.
Before I was just using Wonder Bread and fucking Skippy. So it's, but yeah, nutrition's huge. I use a lot of like meal replacement gainer, like almost like, so I use plant-based products.
Okay.
I try to stay to a plant-based diet myself.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
Did you watch Game Changers then?
No, I've been this route for a while.
Interesting.
It's just I've done a lot of research on on the plant-based world versus and hey, again, to each their own.
Yeah.
I just work better off plants.
Yeah.
I fuel better off of it, and I feel better, and I last longer. So those are all things that are key components. Like, so I use like vegan protein, vegan gainers.
And how long have you been doing that for?
The plant-based.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like I'm a bit of a half-asser in terms of the vegan world.
That's okay.
Like I use it for the health benefits.
Right.
Obviously, there's a lot more to the environment and to animals. I'm an animal lover, so it is kind of goes hand in hand. Like, people will be like, well, you love animals, and I'm like, yeah, and then you're eating them. So I'm like, okay, it all makes sense, but I'm not eating my dog.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly.
Everyone has an argument about everything, obviously, but I just tried it. I tried trial by error. It's difficult because at first I didn't know what to buy or what to eat.
Right.
But once you kind of get a base around it, like it's like for me, I benefit from it.
Yeah. It's incredible. There's so much research now, and there's a lot of endurance athletes and even strongman athletes who are completely plant-based diets.
The strongest man in the world is vegan. Like the strongest animal in the world is plant-based, right? So you think of those arguments, you're like, okay, but then you have to watch a documentary about keto. You're like, oh fuck, I'm gonna go do keto. Like, meat is fuel.
Yeah.
But that just doesn't. I'm a carb guy. I live off carbs.
Okay.
That's what fuels my sources. And everyone has different blood types and this and that kind of go correlate with how you. So to be an endurance athlete, you got to have the right genetics. But I honestly, like, there's people like, well, there's sprinters and there's sprinters and there's marathon runners. Absolutely. You're not going to see, you look at a sprinter and they look like a running back. You look at a marathon runner, he looks like, a pancake. Like the guy has no muscle. He's just freaking, just all skin and bones, but he fucking hustle.
Yeah.
So the different body types but essentially it's, for me, it's like, I don't have that body type for either. I'm not a sprinter or a marathon runner. I just have a strong mind. And then for food is fuel. You gotta get the right sources of food in you, or you're never gonna survive.
Yeah.
That's what starts the cramping and the muscle issues, and you got your issues with dehydration. So like, again, you got to get the right electrolytes and the right stuff in your system.
Yeah.
You can get stuff full of sugar, and you can get that source of energy for an hour. I stay away from caffeine. I don't really use pre-workouts. Stuff like that is not really in my nature now.
Right.
I fucking crush bananas.
Okay.
I'm flat out, like, I eat about 8 bananas to 12 bananas a day.
Yeah. I saw it. I can't remember where it was, but there was a guy who's like banana diet, and it's just that it's incredible source of fuel. Yeah. And it's got a nice combination of minerals and vitamins that are involved.
Sugar, potassium. Yeah, man. That's carbs. Those are all things you need. So I don't really get too crazy about macro counting.
Okay.
I'm more about like the micronutrition, micronutrients. Like that's more important to me, is getting the right material in my body.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I do these endurance challenges, I kind of have I look like a drug dealer because I have these little baggies of all my protein powders and with my veggie greens and my phyto berries. And then I have baggies of my BCAAs and then carb fuel. So yeah. And I kind of keep that I have a backpack that I wear when I make these rides, and I just fuel up when I need it. I try to keep I try to have at least 1,000 calories every 2 hours if I can. Wow. Because I'll burn around 20,000 to 25,000 on this ride probably. So
you're making sure, at least that's good, because that was going to be my next question is, aside from the fact that you're neglecting sleep, which is another question.
That's no problem for me.
Yeah? No issues whatsoever?
No, that's the easy one.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I saw a couple of your videos on social media. You're doing this consistently. You go through these 24-hour stretches.
Yep.
Where you just don't sleep, just in preparation for this.
Yeah, man. Like 5 days out, after this podcast, it's 9:00. I'll be at the gym and I'll put my reps in. I've been at it since 3:00 this morning, and I'll go back to the gym. I lift weights at night because I'm constantly catabolic, meaning I'm always potentially burning.
Right.
And I can get into my muscle that way. I don't want to lose my muscle. I still like to look, somewhat good with my shirt off at a pool.
Fair enough.
So at night I lift weights, and I keep my muscle, my anabolic that way.
Yeah.
And it's more intense. I don't lift heavy weights. I do like a lot of body. Like most people that see me work out, they're like, this guy's not impressive. Like he's not a fuck.
Dude, I was watching some of your videos. They are ridiculous. Some of the
calisthenics,
stuff you're doing.
Yeah.
They're ridiculous. Tell everyone where they can find your social media, because some of those videos are insane. Like I was shaking my head at them.
Yeah, beauty, man. Well, I appreciate it. Respect. Yeah. You could find me on you could either find me on my name, Justin Turgeon, or you can find me on my company that I started. My brand is PAK Fitness, PAK Fitness Inc., and that's on Instagram. Pretty new to the Instagram game, so I'm still trying to figure all that tagging and making videos and trying to make it look legit. But if you wanted to see a guy kind of grab a camera and do crazy shit, I got a GoPro, which could be the end of me, because I do a lot of crazy shit with my GoPro and how
I'm just gonna be pushing the limits on that and making sure you get the best video possible.
You guys will see some funny videos. Like as much as I have these events, like I do a lot of like the way I train is very unique. I do this all the time, 365. So when people say, "Are you ready for this ride?" I was ready for this ride 2 days ago. I was ready for this ride 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The kilometers don't freak me out. It's just getting it done. It's not even freaking me out. I should say that. It's just doing it. So I'm constantly in prep mode. Like there's no show that I'm prepping for. It's just how I train. It's just how I deal with stress or my own mental anxiety.
Yeah.
Instead of being negative about it or sitting there drinking and popping pills, I fucking I get on I put my running shoes on and I go for a run.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I correlate with my endurance. That's the sleep factor, no issues. The nutrition, I prepare really well. Popeyes does help me out, definitely with that education and getting myself situated with the right supplements. But you still gotta get your whole foods in. I still gotta have a meal. Calorie deficiency is gonna be a huge one. That's gonna be one that I'll keep a keen eye on. The sleep is, like I said, we just mentioned, it's nothing of my concern.
And you don't even make up for it ever. It's just you run off however many hours you get and you need to.
Yeah, man, roger that. But that's because it's honestly like there's these little things throughout my life that I'm like, fuck, like what is this benefiting me? And it doesn't really make sense like when you're 18, 19, 20, 21. But even as stupid as it sounds, like I'd be the guy and like I was just a booze bag. I like to drink. That was it. I didn't really get into any party drugs or like that. I just loved drinking. Yeah. But I would drink for fucking 3 days and not fall asleep. And people are like, what else are you doing? I'm like, I'm just drinking, man. Like I'm having fun. But like, and it was, and then, it was in situations where guys would be like, you can't, if any of my buddies would, all my close friends know me that well, they know if you say, hey, Turge, you can't do that. Sure as shit, I'm going to do it. It's, like jumping off a roof or climbing up a ski pole and climbing from whatever, from chair to chair. Yeah. I just have the ability to turn off my brain and just do it, walking through fire, like whatever. But like, so all those little small things that I was doing kind of like really pushed me to where I am now. It's like, as much as that sounds stupid or childish, I had the ability to shut off a lot of things that might have been like sleep deficiency or whatever, right? And I do suffer from CTE. I have post-concussion syndrome. So that's another thing that has affected my sleep. It's just been, I've had that since about 1920 that I've been dealing with that.
Is that from sports?
It's from hockey, yeah.
Okay.
I grew up in the era of concussions not really being a talked about thing.
Right.
Wasn't like, I'm same age as Sidney Crosby, so until he got really concussed in the NHL, we didn't really have headshots or anything like that, right? So, we would play concussed or we'd just deal with it. Like I was hospitalized multiple times, so you couldn't really avoid them. But I don't know, I was my first 3 minutes in my first junior hockey game, I was seizuring on the ice. I got hit so bad, so that was the start of my career, right? So
and continue played, never had any hesitations.
Man, so that's the thing is at that time the doctor would be like, hey, you gotta fucking stop, and then you just go to the next doctor. And I won't say anyone's names because you don't want to sue or anyone, but you just find the right doctor. And you just tell him, hey, I'm good. And then he's like, yeah, you look good. I'm like, cool, let's go. And
Wow.
and then you're back playing, and then you'd be on the bus ride home from a game, and some of the boys be like, hey, good game. I don't remember playing. And then that's a scary thing, right? Because you just try not to, you try to, you know, back to that era of sucking it up. Like, you just think to yourself, okay, like, that's not right. Or you be in warm-ups, and you just start puking. And then and then your trainer will be like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, whatever. Something I ate. But you just don't want to, you don't want to admit the fact that you're hurt, because we didn't grow up with like that, you know, hey, here's your calming arm over your shoulder, and let's figure this out. Like, now head injuries are very talked about, which is great, because you talk to some guys. My biggest fear was being punch drunk, and I was very close to getting to that point. Like, if I would have kept playing like contact sports, like, there's no way that I would and I still battle it. Like, I mean, today, like, I still stumble my words, I'll still stutter, but it's becoming, like, you know, comfortable with it.
Yeah. Well, and I, you know, before you mentioned it, I wouldn't have known or had any, you know, it's one of those things that those brain injuries that are internal, you can't necessarily see on the outside, and it's the same way the doctor will give you the go ahead when they can't see it, right? Yeah. And but, you know, you sound amazing. You sound really good, and obviously, clearly, you've got that mental drive that hasn't been phased at all. And it's really impressive.
I appreciate that, man. It's and that's like kind of like what kind of makes me who I am, and I think that's what's making me kind of unique in this world. Mm-hmm. You know, the world we live in today is changing. It's different. It's different than when I was 21, 22. Like, evolution's a real deal, and, you know, it's like, you know, people got to get with the times, and I feel like I can be relatable.
Right.
I'm an open-minded guy, and I'm open-minded to sharing my story to help people. Yeah. But yeah, I've had a lot of lives. Like, it's you know, you have injuries, and you have these setbacks, and you have, you know, and you have these situations in life where you can be relatable. Like, yeah, I'm a strong white male, but there's things that have really put me down, and I've learned to deal with them properly and accordingly, and to be proactive and not be, you know, use any crutch. It's just to push through. Like, I've had multiple surgeries on my knees. I've had foot surgery. I've had hand surgery. Like, I've had surgeries that, you know, would stop people from doing what they want to do, but I just don't listen. You know. And
are you doing anything during the recovery period from those surgeries that's different, or is it just all mentally? You're just
my last knee surgery was in June. I saw that ride that we were just talking about when I seized up, and for the ride to conquer cancer in June. I did that on a torn MCL, and then 2 weeks later, I had a knee surgery to fix it or correct it, and within 12 hours, I was at the gym. So that's how I deal with it. That's not right. I know that. I know anyone that has a medical background, or anyone that, you know, is into recovery and rest and recovery, are probably shaking their head at me like, this guy's a fucking idiot. Yeah. And I know that. I know that what I'm doing isn't right for my body, but it's how I deal with it. It's how I could push through, right? Yeah. If I hurt myself more, then so be it. Then you know, c'est la vie. That's what I did to myself. Yeah. But if I sit at home and feel sorry for myself, that ain't gonna be good, because then I'm bored, I'm agitated, and I don't want to sit around. So at least going to the gym just to walk around is a peace of mind in my life. Yeah. So that's how I don't rest, and I don't recover. Like, at 365, I was challenged this year from actually a girl that I do a lot of, like, my fitness challenges with, and you might have seen us in our videos. They have a studio called Evolve Studio in Niagara Lake. Fantastic place. They do flotation and infrared sauna. Yeah,
what's her name?
Marlena Saxton. Okay. So Marlena Saxton, she's at Marlena Saxton Fitness. We do a lot of collaborations, and so I challenged her to live a week in my life. You know, waking up early, and then she challenged me for rest. Okay. 1 week of rest. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. It sounds ridiculous, that resting for a week is a challenge for me, but it is. And, like, she wanted me to sleep, and it was probably the hardest thing I've ever done.
And did you feel better after that?
No.
Really? So no, you didn't have any.
No, you know what? I'll give her credit. I did. Yeah. I did feel like better in terms of, like, what I rested, but I cheated a little bit. I still went out and played hockey, and it was good. It was beneficial, but, like, it's not the way I operate. Yeah. I've been high octane for the last 14 years. I started working full time at 18. You know, I've always had like that previous job I was mentioning. I was working 4,000 hours a year, so that's double the amount of what a normal person works in a 40-hour work week.
Yeah.
So sleep was never in my option,
Mm.
and my job was very stressful. So I would be up all night stressing out if I didn't do something right.
Mm.
So this whole sleeping thing, I didn't just say, oh, I listen to David Goggins, I want to be a hardo like him. And I'll never be a hardo like him. Like, that guy is a whole different level. But I take things that he does and says, and like, you know, that represents who I am as well. So I'm gonna run with that.
Yeah.
You know, he's raw and unedited. That's the way I talked. I like that. I like that 40% he says, and I like that he uses his own life experiences to better himself.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing, and you're trying to find this little weird silver linings. Like, shit, that kind of really was conditioning me to do what I do.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, don't you sleep? I never did. You know, it's like, I never have.
Yeah. It's raw, like the Athletes podcast, man. It's cool having and hearing from someone, because so many people nowadays are of the opinion that you got to get your 8 hours, you got to drink X amount of water, you got X amount of calories, wake up at, you know, whatever it is. But you know, having that ability to go and not stop, and there isn't that turn off, it's nice. And it's, you know, as much as we should be taking care of our bodies, it's also, I feel like there aren't people that are pushing themselves as much as they should be the way you're doing it, right? Maybe not necessarily to your extent, but it's important. So you do this Pathstone Foundation now that's coming up in a couple of days. Prior to the Princess Margaret ride, you did the Stairmaster on A&W.
Oh, that was after.
That was after.
Yeah, so Princess Margaret was like my first one I kind of did. And yeah, so that was a good one. That was 30 hours straight of endurance.
Yeah.
And honestly, when I finished that, like, I was at the gym that day working out. I got home.
Jordan and I are laughing here because, you know, we're gonna have to go to the gym after this episode.
Yeah, let's go for a run, boys. Yeah, like that day, I got home on Saturday, and it was funny because my old man, he gets fired up in traffic areas. So, like, obviously down where the finish line was, there's tons of fucking traffic, and so he's calling me while I'm riding, like, you know, like, I got better things to do than, you know. And so
it's a typical dad.
Yeah, he's like he's pissed off at me. Like, he's like, I got, you know, he goes, I don't have anywhere to park. So yeah, the best part was, like, there's like down in Niagara Falls, like where we were down by the hill, by the falls. So that was like right where the finish line was. Mm-hmm. He made me like go meet him like another 5K like up a fucking hill, you know, so he can avoid all the traffic. But God bless him. He's the man that created me. So he obviously you could probably tell what kind of guy he is. But
I can only imagine.
Yeah, he's a beauty. But anyways, so we did that. That day I went home, had a bite to eat, slept, went back to the gym. And then I said my knee was messed up from there, so I had knee surgery. And then so the A&W, I know the owner at A&W, she's a customer at Popeyes. Okay. So we were just kind of, you know, shooting the shit about you know, what I do and like the endurance style training that I perform, or what I try to do or whatever. And she says, "Oh, we have a Burgers to Beat MS Day coming up August 22nd." And she's like, "Would you be interested in doing anything?" And this is I just physically had knee surgery. Like, I think I was like at work the next day, and I'm like, yeah, whatever I can do, let's think about it. I can't run because I would have liked to do like a running thing for it, like just do laps for 24 hours straight. And then so I'm like, just let me think about it because I'm kind of limited. I don't really have a lot of mobility right now. So about 2 weeks went by. I was at Good Life. And I set a challenge for a lot of people, and I set challenges like on my Instagram, like just weekly challenges, or like I have these. I think I have my T-shirt on right now. Yeah, I have a T-shirt of PAK Fitness. So my gear that I do sell some of it, but there's some T-shirts that say #earned. Okay. And that you got to earn that. You don't buy it, you earn it. So if you got to
very cool.
Yeah, so it's a cool little marketing thing on my end. Yeah. It took off really well. So people that literally are living that do something completely outside their boundaries, whether it's mental or physical, whether it's you just going up and public speaking or running 20K for the first time in your life, 5K, I don't give a shit, but I'm coming with you, you know, like, so damn, you know, or Stairmaster. So I started a Stairmaster challenge, which you do 1,000 floors. Okay. Most people go for 20 minutes and they're gassed. Yeah. 1,000 floors usually take the average person around 3 to 4 hours. So if you could put on 3 to 4 hours in the Stairmaster, you're getting one of my T-shirts. If you want to come run the hills with me and you can keep up for 10 or 15 laps, you get a fucking t-shirt. Or if you want to come just do a training, like usually when I'm training, my regiments, they're pretty insane. I'm up around 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, especially in the summer. So I run around 20 to 30K a day. I cycle or spin for another 80 to 100K, depending on what kind of day it is and how much time I have. And then I go hit the gym. So if someone wants to join me on that, fucking right. So you get that. You'll get multiple t-shirts.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm at Good Life. It's about 2 weeks go by, and I got a buddy of mine from I used to be a firefighter with. He's doing 2,000 floors on the Stairmaster. I'm like, you motherfucker. I'm like, that's he's making me hungry right now, right? So he does 2,000 floors, and he's a tank. Like this guy crushes it, and I can't remember, like 6 hours, 7 hours, or something like that. And
holy Dinah, man. These are aggressive numbers. I'm just trying to mentally think about
this guy's pretty. He's a fucking wacko too. So he did that. I'm like, then so of course now my competitive edge is going, and the next day I brace up and I get on that Stairmaster and I get out to I beef out 1,000 floors, but everything's on fire, because I haven't worked out hard, and so my legs were on fire, and I got 1,000 in. I'm like, it gives me an idea. So I call the girl from A&W that I know, and I got an idea. I says, I'm gonna get a Stairmaster. We're gonna deliver it right to the restaurant, and I'm gonna go on that Stairmaster for 24 hours straight, and I'm gonna try to beat the world record. So unfortunately, I didn't set it up because I didn't know if I was actually gonna be able to do it. Because then like a few days after that, I kind of had to like, well, fuck, I gotta reap what I sow. Yeah. So I gotta go see if I can go on this thing for at least 12 hours. Mm-hmm. And actually, I pulled my hamstring so fucking bad. It rolled right up in my ass cheek. So I had a huge knot. It's half my hamstring. It's still there.
You didn't get it fixed?
No. I just
because why? Who needs hamstrings?
Right? I just roll it out every now and then with a lacrosse ball. But I tried doing it for 12 hours, and it felt like someone came up and tased me. I thought someone was playing a joke on me, and like came up and gave me like a tase or a shot, but it was just my hamstring shooting up into my ass cheek. So that was probably 12 days before I agreed to going 24 hours on this thing. So anyway, Sylvia. So I called Sylvia like, we're gonna do this. It's a go. I'll be physically good. We got the Stairmaster, from Niagara Fitness Solutions in St. Catharines. So shout out to them. Yeah. They're pretty much the only fitness solution area in the Niagara region. So obviously all gym equipment and everything.
So they were gracious enough to bring.
Yeah. So I know the owner Pat Bowman there, and I asked him, says, do you like any Stairmaster? And it was great because actually the Stairmaster had character. It was like this old girl. Nice. It wasn't like one of those ones you see at like a nice global gym. You could tell it had some miles on it. So it was perfect for me because
you're going to be putting on an extra couple thousand on.
Yeah, I got a lot of miles on me. So unfortunately, I didn't get a hold of anyone. I didn't get a hold of someone from the record book in time. They need like a half hour, at least 6 weeks to kind of like set it up, like a month.
Okay.
So like again, I was unsure that I was even going to be able to do it. And also too, I didn't really want to waste anyone's time if I couldn't do it. So right. I didn't want anyone standing there for 24 hours if I failed. So I'd feel like a bag of shit. So the event starts. I started right at midnight, kind of like what I'm doing for this ride. I'm starting right at midnight. And the first hour was a nightmare. That was my hardest hour. Was the first hour, and it was right up front of the restaurant. So it was like I literally had like a tent. It was in the summer. I had like a little tent. Mm-hmm. It wasn't classy. It wasn't like I'm not a classy guy. Like when I go for these bike rides, I don't feel like I want to bother someone, like even be like a pace car. Right. I'd rather just load up my backpack full of friggin' sandwiches and just do it. I don't want anyone's like, oh man, I don't want to waste this person's time.
You don't want to inconvenience anyone, which is fair.
But which was really nice about this Stairmaster, because I had a lot of supporters, and it was really humbling because it was you don't realize the good influence you put on people until they come out and they show their support for you. And that's weird for me because I'm not someone that likes to take compliments. Right. So when people start coming for me, because they know they see me on social media, and there's like probably 50 to 100 people that I knew personally just came out to say hi, or shake my hand, and then you meet all the people with MS that are there. Wow. As I'm doing the Stairmaster, people are coming up and taking a photo with me, and it was super humbling. It was super like inspirational to me, because people are saying are complimenting me on what I'm doing. I'm just doing this for 24 hours. Yeah. You got to deal with this debilitating disease for the rest of your life, and you're saying thank you to me. Like that was very, very humbling. But yeah, so it was 24 hours straight
with no hamstring.
Yeah, my hamstring was a little tight.
Just off of knee surgery.
My knee was an issue. It didn't pose an issue at first. My body was like, if you would have came to see me for the first 12 hours, you would have never known you would have thought I was in my first 5 minutes, because everything was moving smoothly. It was great because it had a lot of interactions with people, so it's very distracting.
Yeah, keeping that energy up.
The hamburger smell was kind of getting overwhelming.
Okay,
because like you're just smelling greasy burgers all day. Yeah. So that kind of made
half of you wants to take a bite, half of you wants to
I'll just stick to my my athlete's gainer or whatever, right? Yeah. But as it progressed, it got easier, and then by about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, that's when my body started to fail, because I know on this ride my body's gonna fail multiple times, and it's not the fact that it freaks me out, it's just you're waiting for it. So this Stairmaster, I knew my body was gonna fail. There's no doubt in my mind, and you got to accept the fact that you could very well just fucking end up in the hospital or wake up in the hospital, because if you don't, you can't be going in there scared. You can't be going in there nervous thinking about that shit. And I was quite confident that if the people that are around me are good enough to get me drag my ass into a vehicle and drive me to the hospital, good enough. Just give me some IV, and I'll be happy. But so if you go into these things, half-assing it or trying to pay attention to an injury, you're not going to finish, because as soon as that starts to cause an issue, you're going to stop, because you're in your mind, you're like, well, my knee's fucking torn up. I've done 18 hours. No, and if I did, no one would ever be like, oh man, like only 18 hours, it's like, so
it's most people's, yearly amount of time on their Stairmaster.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I was about 19 hours in, and that's when my body started telling me, all right, dude, you gotta fucking do something here. Either shit or get off the pod, or something's happening. And my knee started to blow up on me. It looked like a tumor, because obviously you just had ligament repair on your knee, so that started to swell up on me. And my hips carry a lot of lactic acid.
Okay.
So they look like two grapefruits. And then my hamstring was causing an issue. So my buddy, the guy who did 2,000 floors, literally went to the grocery or the convenience store and bought me ice packs, and we just taped them on my body, and that's how I finished the last 6 hours. And
holy shit! By
the time I finished, it was I did a video as I passed the 24-hour mark, and I still felt good, and I was kind of not to sound like a complete psycho, but I was kind of disappointed. I was kind of like,
you're hoping for that.
What's gonna actually put me out, put me down, because I was still I literally slept in a chair that night out front of the A&W, because I had to keep an eye on my Stairmaster.
Right.
Because everyone left. I had 2 beers and a couple burgers with my buddies after I was finished.
Post-workout recovery meal.
Yeah, right. Roger that, man. Elevate my knee.
Yeah.
Sitting in one of those lounge chairs. I slept there till 5 a.m. when the girls came in for breakfast. The girl that worked the breakfast woke me up with a breakfast sandwich. I went home, slept for an hour or two, and went to the gym.
Jesus,
man. And anyone that knows me knows I was at the gym. I was getting after it. I was working out hard. I was doing legs that day.
These are ridiculous physical feats that I'm just shaking my head at for those who are listening.
In the 24 hours. So just to go back to the record thing, just so I can at least, because we were talking about that earlier. In 24 hours, I went. We did the math, because that Stairmaster didn't really accumulate the floors like one would be at your gym right now. But when we did the math, we did it to about 6,100 floors, which the world record was 5,080 something. So I beat it by about 1,000 floors, and
it's a 24-hour, so in one day.
In 24 hours, man. Yeah. Without stopping.
And was that record, do you know information on that record? Was the guy doing straight for 24 hours too?
Yeah, so I got to verify that too. But essentially what I'm going to set up now, I know I can do it.
Yeah.
And so that record will be mine eventually, once I get around to doing it. I'm opening up a gym. I'm going to try to open up my own gym. So that's my plan, is for the inaugural day or for the opening day,
Okay.
I'm gonna beat the world record on a stairmaster.
Wow.
Kind of be like my identity, kind of my image with the gym.
For sure.
Would be a good way of breaking it in.
Good for you, man. Well, the Athletes Podcast will be here and be there to see that for sure. And
Fucking rights.
yeah, well, I mean, so this is the thing is when you've got someone like yourself who's doing these just incredible things, and you know you're not gaining anything from this other than the fact that you're fundraising for these events, and it's incredible to see someone who's, you know, putting their body on the line 24/7, 365 like you've done, and for no personal gain.
Yeah.
And you know, I want to be able to recognize that as much as I possibly can, and you know, whether it's through the podcast or whether it's sharing all of your social media stuff, this is this kind of thing. As soon as I saw what you were doing, you know, Jordan and I made sure that we had to get you on here, and so, and you know, what brings us to now, your Path Stone Foundation, biking from Ottawa to St. Catharines, 36 hours is the goal time, weather dependent, and that's in 5 days.
Yeah, so in 5 days, that's my next one. I appreciate everything you just said too, man. It's a lot of respect, and that's kind of like, you know, I'm a huge laws of attraction. Attract what you create.
Mm-hmm.
You know, send the positive vibes out there, and they'll come back. Like, you know, I don't want to sound like a hippie, but like if you promote love and you promote, you know, goodness in people, or you promote just positivity to people, it's gonna come back to you.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's not finances that I'm after either. Like it's creating my image, my brand to be a contagious atmosphere. So whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's create a great podcast, you know, put the work in, man.
Yeah.
Every fucking day, you know, spend that hour that you might be flipping through Instagram, and put the phone down and get after something that's going to benefit your podcast or benefit you as a person. That's kind of what I'm trying to do for people.
Yeah.
Is make time, you know, make time, not excuses. So if you're saying that you can't make time to go to the gym, I'm going to call bullshit. And if you're, and then in the most polite way as possible to people too. Like I have, you know, mothers that have, you know, multiple children and married and blah, 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 and jobs. Yeah. We'll make time.
Yeah.
You have a basement? Yep. Let's make time down there for fucking 45 minutes.
Yeah. That's all you need, right? And so many people are, you know, they make this big ordeal about going to the gym. They got to dedicate an hour and a half. It's no, like, you know, throw on some running shoes and run for 45 minutes. And if, you know what, you can do it in 15 minutes if you go intense. Like, it's whatever your body needs and reacts to the best. That's all it takes.
Yeah, man, exactly. Like my sister's out in Ottawa. Like she's got two young girls. They're needy. They need her all the time. She shoves them in a stroller, goes for a bike ride or goes for a run.
Nice.
You know, she's still getting her miles in, right? So like, there's always an opportunity to better yourself. You're just not finding it. You're not working hard enough to look for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's, you know, going back to kind of like what I'm doing is I appreciate trying to, like, obviously getting my name out there. That's what I'm trying to create. I'm not trying to create this influencer or these things that, you know, social media typecasts as you, like, here, I'm gonna pay you fucking this much to promote this energy drink. No, I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I care about what's important to me, and like that's why I created PAK. And wolves are important to me because that animal represents something to me. You know, that mentality represents something to me. I didn't just pick it because they're badass. I just picked them because they represent what I am and what I want to try to create. Like, if you're in my pack, it means that you're going to be bettering yourself every day. You know, you're going to use the lead by example mentality.
Right. And take us through. So you've got PAK Fitness, and you started that 7 months ago.
Yep.
And it's, you know, and your goal is to start a gym. What's the process? Is that in 1 year? Is that 5 years, 10 years? What's the...
Yeah, so essentially within the next year, I'd like to open a gym.
Okay.
100%. That's my goal. And kind of have the same mentality that we're talking about here, have this unique style training. You know, you've seen the stuff that I do on Instagram, like you said, and it's different. But I'm still going to cater to everybody. Like, right. I'm a huge modify and adapt. Like, there's people on I train from professional athletes to people that just started training. Mm-hmm. And then we all do the same exercises. We still lift weights. We can still, do Olympic lifting. You still do bodybuilding. And the gym that I'm going to have, it's kind of like, I always, the movie Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Average Joe's.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Average Joe's,
okay.
but with, like, obviously a little more spunk.
Right.
It's got to have, my
some
mentality.
Wolves on the wall, right?
Wolves on the wall, rather than just some greasy, like, dudes smoking darts. But it's going to be a little more, like, it's going to have that mentality where, like, it's all welcome, but we're going to get after it inside. Like, we're going to put the, it's going to be a, boot class orientated kind of style. There'll be all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. It's not going to just be a gym where you put your headphones in and you're antisocial. It's going to be a community. It's going to be a family. And I want it to be open 24 hours. So that's my 1 year goal.
Yeah.
In 5 years, I'd love to see PAK Fitness across Canada. I have some plans that I want to literally take my bike and start in Halifax and have a Winnebago follow me or a RV. Yeah. And we'll stop in every major city and do a boot camp for a particular charity of that community. So like that's one of my goals in the next 5 years, and ride my bike across Canada. And then once I get to Vancouver, turn and burn home and try to beat the world record.
Nice.
Across Canada.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's my 5 year plan. I don't think I have the funding or like the setup for next summer.
Right.
But
understandable given your,
Yeah, I'm putting everything. I'm literally doing a lot of things for free, so it's obviously not like making a ton of money. But for my 5 year plan, I think that'd be a really cool idea. Like I'll be stopping in, like from Halifax, Fredericton to Quebec City to Montreal, Ottawa, and everywhere I'd stop. I'd set up either a charity within that community, or B, have one whole like Canadian wide, like whether it's for MS or cancer or whatever, right? Mental health. And I ride and every station I stop, all the money I make from that boot camp goes to that charity.
Amazing.
And that's how I operate. I want to be selfless. I spent my whole adulthood pretty much being selfish. And that's most people are.
Yeah.
You think for yourself. I've always been very giving and loving to my friends and family, but when it comes down to it, like I turn wrenches because I want to make money. Mm-hmm. I didn't do it because I loved it. I went and got the job I did because I wanted to make money and I wanted to pay off all this bullshit debt. And I got into like this stuck in my head where I just got to,
revolving door.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. So it was constant flow. So that'd be my plan. But instead of 5 years, 5 days from now, going back to this ride.
Yeah.
The ride is definitely gonna be something special to me. It's something that hits home for me is mental health, and it's helping kids' mental health.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I want to make my name is helping things that are near and dear to me. Mm-hmm. Whether it's people that I feel like everyone one way or the other has dealt with some sort of anxiety or mental illness, whether it's not being able to just function for the day, or just having that, it's okay to be sad. Like I'm an alpha male. I'm fucking sad sometimes. I'll cry during the office, man. Like I don't, it's like, I have moments of, where I feel like shit. Like, and that's cool. Like, but like, it's how you deal with it. And you have channels like Passed On for kids, especially kids, like, because it doesn't get into that situation of adulthood. Mm-hmm. That's huge for me. Like if we can, and if I create, not the money, like I'm going to raise money, which is great. Yeah. But the awareness. So hopefully the story from your podcast to me doing newspapers to this and that, or Instagram, and it catches fire from Ottawa to Kingston to Belleville, and just like maybe it's just 1 or 2 people per area, 1 to 200. I don't care. Yeah. But as long as it's an awareness and people are like, fuck, I'm going to do something different now, or I'm going to go talk to somebody because this guy's made me feel like you're allowed to do that. Yeah. And that's a hard, like it's just, everybody has the excuse of anxiety and this and that, and everyone has a valid excuse. It's just how to channel it properly. Mm-hmm. So for me, I'm always open. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll hear me talk about a lot of things that, like, hey, this is how I'm dealing with my shit, and or why I'm doing it this way. Like you said, I'm doing this without any income coming my way, or as a selfless act. And in the 7 or 8 months that I've been doing this, I've raised over almost $15,000. Wow. On my own, personally, just myself. Yeah. And that's great, And so, what else can I do? Like, that's just the beginning, right? So that's the way I operate. So like, as much as I love doing these endurance challenges, because for myself, why not do it for other people? Why not do it for a cause? Right. And get more of an involvement.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible what you're doing, what you continue to do. I'm thrilled that you were able to come on. I really appreciate you telling your story, basically going through everything from, your knee blowing up, tumor-sized basketball on your knee, to, popping hamstrings left, right, and center. Like this, I'm going to listen to this again, go through and just, shake my head as I watch the video of me shaking my head. I'm still trying to wrap my head around some of these things, but I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. And where can people donate as well if they're interested Is this through your website?
Yeah, man. So first off, again, appreciate having me out here, and appreciate your words. That's those are encouraging. I'll be thinking about that when I'm dealing with with Mother Nature in 5 days from now. But you can donate to my ride at PASStoneFoundation.ca, and it's the links are there. Or if you're following me on Instagram, the link is right in my bio, and I have my own personal website at PAK Fitness, PAKFitnessInc.com, and there'll be a donate page set up, and it'll link you right to Passstone.
Amazing. And you're starting at midnight in Ottawa?
In Ottawa, yeah. Okay. So I'll be in Ottawa Monday doing a couple media things with with Ottawa Popeyes, and then I start right at midnight. And I don't plan on stopping. So I'll be arriving back here in St. Catharines at the Passstone Foundation. Luckily, it's right beside the hospital, so just in case I need to
just roll
right past Passstone, yeah. But I'll be hopefully back here on Wednesday, obviously the next day, Wednesday mid-afternoon. If I get it done in 30 hours, I'll be extremely happy.
Yeah.
But if it takes me longer, it takes me longer.
Yeah. Well, I have no doubt you're going to get it done one way or another, whether you're running through the snow or biking through whatever weather it is. I'm very excited to see how it ends up. I really hope that you're able to raise as much money as possible. Super excited to see the results. And listeners, if you're not fired up to go to the gym right now after hearing what this man has gone through, I don't know what else is going to motivate you. Maybe David Goggins will.
Yeah, listen to Goggins if I don't get you going, but I'll meet you at the gym.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, Justin. Again, thank you very much. And for those listening, this has been the 8th episode of the Athletes Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and share this episode because it's been unreal. Take care, folks.